On Wednesday afternoon, the Labour Party tabled a motion in the House of Lords asking for a joint committee of Lords and Commons to be appointed to consider the costs and implications of the UK exiting the European Union without a withdrawal agreement, in other words, no deal. And the focus was absolutely on no deal. The committee, whatever committee is getting formed, is supposed to report by the 30th of September this year, in time for leaving on Halloween. Lord Howell stood up. Now, this is, of course, Lord Howell of "we should frack the desolate north" fame, but nonetheless, he made a very good point about what happens when, from a trade standpoint, should Britain leave the EU at Halloween. Well, in fact, it was absolutely nothing. So absolutely nothing will happen should we leave with a no deal on the 31st of October. And so his point was that all this focus on no deal is effectively a waste of time. It's a bit, and we're saying, the UK column saying, that it's therefore fraudulent in that sense. So, but he was restating a point which originated with the Bruges Group, as was highlighted by David Owen, Lord Owen, in this, it was a Sunday Times article from the end of June this year. The point that Hall and Owen are making is that while Britain has notified the EU of its intention to leave under Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, it has not notified anyone of any intention to leave the European Economic Area. And this is a very key point. So this is the Times article, the Sunday Times article that Lord Owen wrote. Our EU escape route exists already. Europe set it up. He said, yet the European single market is designed to include countries inside and outside the EU that are signatories in their own right to the European Economic Area. The Bruges Group has recently advocated a mechanism whereby the UK leaves the EU but remains a member of the EEA, participating provisionally in the European single market. So the point he's making here is that Croatia has been a provisional member of the EEA, i.e. that all the other member states of the EEA have not ratified Croatia's membership. So Croatia has been a provisional member since May 2014. The UK leaving under Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty does not remove us from the EEA. There's a separate notification process to leave that, and it takes 12 months. So there's no reason why, on a provisional basis, similar to Croatia, Britain could not remain part of the EEA and therefore part of the single market, and therefore very little from a trade perspective would have to change. And he goes on to say that the UK would remain provisional until a trade deal with the EU, a formal trade deal, is done with the EU, and then the UK would leave the EEA, having given the necessary 12 months notice. Now, there are a couple of points here. I think, first of all, the right of free movement of people between EEA member states and the relevant provisions on that are the same as those that apply to members of the European Union. So nothing changes should we leave. And the other thing that I think is of particular interest, Brian, is that people that are the EEA does not include the single market aspect of that, does not include the common agricultural policy and the common fisheries policy. And I find it very coincidental that the only two EU institutions that the UK has said at this point that it is definitely leaving is the common agricultural policy and the common fisheries policy. Yeah. And to me, this seems to imply that, in fact, from the government point of view, there's already been some thought given to this and some recognition that we would still be members of the EEA. The fact, therefore, that the civil servants in the Cabinet Office who've been organising this whole Brexit shenanigans, and also the government and also all the opposition parties have up till now said nothing about this, implies, I think, that they, for some reason, they don't want this part of the discussion, similar to Defence Union, because this gives us the option, the UK, the option to leave on a no-deal basis without a massive impact.
Yeah, so this is an important little speech in the Lords there, because this has really taken the lid off it. And if the thing is simple, and this is where this is heading, isn't it? We don't need the big furore about no deal. This takes us one big step out of the European Union, and then everything is there for the next step, which is the complete breakaway. So we're not being told the truth by the civil service at the moment. And Mr.